Welcome to a special edition of the NeverEndingPanel.com. We are shooting from UC Riverside in the Eaton Collection. The Eaton Collection, for those of you who don't know, is the largest publicly accessible library of science fiction, fantasy, horror, and utopian future stories in the world.
It's bloody huge.
It's bloody huge. And as such, it's an outstanding resource for collectors. Our guest panelists today, to my left, is Gvido, if I pronounce that correctly, Zlatkis. Gvido Zlatkis, he's the reference librarian for special collections. To the left of Gvido is Melissa Conway, PhD in medieval studies from Yale University, and head of special collections and archives. To the left of Melissa is Julia Rhee, who is the subject specialist and cataloger for Eaton Collection. And next to Julia is Eaton, who everybody pronounces his name Eaton a lot. So it kind of works out, prophetically and karmically that Eaton will be here also as a guest panelist, Eaton at the Eaton Collection. Well, not quite right.
Eaton at the Eaton.
Anyways, let's just get to some of the questions.
But there's no eating here.
No eating in the Eaton Collection. No drinking or eating, but yes, allowing Eaton. I guess the first question I'm going to ask Melissa is, what exactly does the head of a collection do?
Well, I actually have a question.
But I had the first question. I'm the moderator.
Well, you got to do all that speaking. I don't get to say anything now.
You don't get to say anything. I had a question. I already lobbed the question. She's ready for the question.
Go ahead.
How about if I answered the question I like better?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so go ahead, Donnie. I'll pit the brother against brother here.
Oh, I like the way she rolls. My question was, what exactly does the head of a collection do?
And what is yours, Eaton?
My question is, you actually have two titles, which is Head of Special Collections and Archivist. Is there a difference, and if so, what is it?
Well, there's got to be a difference if she's got two titles.
I can answer these questions together. What does the Head of Special Collections and Archives do? Well, actually, I oversee this entire staff. I do things like what we're doing today. I do a lot of outreach. I do a lot of donor work and development work, and I attend a lot of meetings. I make sure that everything's running on schedule. I make sure that I have a wonderful staff, so my job is a lot easier than a lot of people would be in my condition. I also go to a lot of meetings as an administrator, meetings with my superiors, meetings with the people on my level who are heads of departments. So my day really is very much tied up with a lot of administrative details. Those of you who have been administrators understand that. What's the difference between special collections and archives, to answer Eaton's question? Archives are usually unique. We have some important archives here of science fiction writers. They might show rough drafts, letters, correspondence, and so on and so forth. Special collections, the whole thing is a special collection. But I added the "and" archives on because we have two very, very fine archivists. We have an archivist who works on our special collections archives, which are the ones I was just describing, like for science fiction writers. And then we have university archives, which are the history of our own university. So that's the difference. Is that clear?
Yeah, that's pretty good. And we're just going to go down the line. I'm going to ask Gvido, what does a reference librarian for special collections do specifically?
Let me add something to Melissa.
No adding things. Just kidding.
No adding things. Okay. This place, it's not just Eaton Collection. Eaton Collection is part of this place. As Melissa mentioned, it has also university archives. It has also a special collection in rare books in tradition.
Yeah, largest printing press collection, working press, which Gvido oversees. So there are a lot of things here. But since I know we have SF fans out there, I was concentrating on that.
And
so when all the power goes, the revolution starts here.
You got it.
Got it. Okay, good.
On the other hand, Eaton Collection is not just books. Okay, the Eaton Collection is part of this whole library, special collections and archives, but it consists of the book part, the book meaning commercially printed, commercially published book, and also the archival part with papers and documents of writers. Also a large comic book collection, manga and anime collection, and a very significant collection of fanzines.
Wow. And as reference librarian, your job
And
is?
as a reference librarian, my job is to help navigating in this riches. So, if people come to me or email me or call me and try to find a particular document or particular body of documents or books, I'm helping.
Got it. And Julia, you are the subject specialist and cataloger for the Eaton collection. What does that entail? What does that mean?
That's correct, Donnie. I am. I actually wear two hats here. In my guise as cataloger, I make sure that the materials for the public are available for the public catalog. In other words, if there's a book that you want, you'll go to our website and look up a title. Who puts that title in the catalog? I do. The author, the what we call the bibliographic information. How big the book is, how many pages, does it have illustrations, is it part of a larger series? That's the kind of information that I make available to the public. The other hat that I wear, and the hat that has me even prouder than being one of the principal catalogers of the collection, is the subject specialist selector. And in that guise, I am allowed to and gratefully try to accomplish collecting as much science fiction, fantasy, horror, and utopian literature as the budget will allow.
Interesting, utopian. So that's different from science fiction and fantasy.
Well, think of it this way. What is an idealized society if not a fantasy?
Where does this, I guess this is directed to you, Melissa, where does the collection come from?
Oh, the collection started, the nucleus was the collection of Dr. J. Lloyd Eaton of Oakland, California. He loved science fiction. He collected very fine hardcover copies. When he died, there were 7,500 books left in his collection, assembled in his collection. And his family wanted a library to take it because it had been assembled very lovingly and very intelligently. And no library would take it. No public library. Well, we had a university librarian here, this is 1969, who loved science fiction. And he thought if no one is collecting science fiction out there, no libraries are, then we can make a name for ourselves. So he took the Eaton collection, and we built on it ever since.
It's hard to believe no one was collecting science fiction at all
not
at the time.
even public libraries would add science fiction. They would add, perhaps, Frankenstein would be there or Dracula, but they would not add regularly science fiction. So
they lose.
Science fiction, public libraries don't collect books, period. Except for, large research libraries like New York Public Library Research Section or Boston Public Library. Public libraries recycle, have their books for a period of 2-3 years, and then there is a new crop. And science fiction, as is mostly paperback. The books made cheaply, mass production, and rarely, reprinted.
But of course, these were hardbacks, and they couldn't even find a circulating library that wanted them. So,
right.
But Guido's making a good point that a lot of the reason is not that I don't know if it was a value judgment on science fiction as much as he's talking about very flimsy and ephemeral, and so it was hard to circulate science fiction books that were in paperback format.
Let's take a break right there.